So I'm going to gather my threads in a bundle that is somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. If I'm dealing with linen, I will not go larger than 1/2 inch. This is 22 cotton, so I think I'm taking something like 5/8 of an inch, and I'm not counting. I'm looking in the reed, and my eye is identifying an area that is somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to bring my rod over. I'm going to make sure my rod is maybe about 2.5 inches from the front beam, and it's appropriate lined on the right and the left. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to take the middle group, and I'm going to finger comb it. Now, this is Jeanetta's method of tying on with 1 or 2 adjustments, so that in the end, you never have to go back and adjust a neighbor. If you follow this method I'm about to show you, when you're done tying on, you're done tying on. I know if you've ever encountered a time when you've tied on and, oh, this group needs to be adjusted, and now this group needs to be adjusted, and before you know it, you've got multiple different tensions, your fingers are tired, and you can't really feel the tension anymore. That's what we want to avoid. Okay, so I don't have enough of a tail, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather the whole warp up, step on the break release for the back, and give myself a little bit more length. I just want to make sure I have enough. Okay, so I finger combed it, and with this method, you start by going under the rod. It's really important. If you do this method going over the rod, it will not hold. So I go under the rod. Then I'm going to look in the reed and find an approximate halfway point. I'm not counting, I'm just eyeing it. I'm putting my fingers in, drawing it to the rod, and that helps me to create the split, right half, left half. So I'm going to bring the right half to the left and the left half to the right. I'm going to pull, tighten, and the right hand is going to take hold of the left. So notice I'm going to come around and I'm going to create an opening right here so that I can pinch the left threads. And I have the yarns wedged up here, and I'm going to bounce on it to see if I like the tension. If I like the tension, my goal is to not let anything alter so that when I tie that knot, the tension is as it is right now. So this is really specific. I don't believe you have to do it this way. This is the way I do it, and I find it really works. So I don't know if you can see that the right threads are a little bit higher than the left. I'm going to put my finger in that slot and pinch the right. I'm going to use my left finger to keep the right below it, the right threads, and I can come up. I've got a loop, and I'm just going to dive into that loop. I haven't moved anything here, and I come down on that, tighten it. I put one set of wings on one side and one on the other, adjust it, make sure this is still aligned. Now this is the tension I'm going to aim to tie for a little bit. If I don't like it, if it's too tight, I can step on the friction brake release and let a little bit of slack up from the back. If it's too loose, I can add more tension, but I like this. So now I'm going to work one side and the other side, one side, the other side. So take the next groove, I'm going to finger comb it, and I'm going to do the exact same motions. I start by going under the rod. I look in the reed, divide it approximately in half. So now I've identified my right half and the left half. They're going to go over the rod, and then each group is going to go to the other side. I bring the right half to the left half to the right, and they come up. And my right hand turns to create a space to hold the left. And I'm going to feel. And I want it to be exactly the same as this one. And what you might not notice is what's happening with the right hand. The right hand is coming forward. I'm exaggerating it forward and back in small amounts so that I can try to get the tension to be exact. And when I like it, a little bit more tension. I want to keep it like this. So left finger goes in here to grab the top one. It keeps the bottom one below. I go up, over, and through. This is how I found I make very little movement, which means the tension doesn't shift very much. I like that. I want you to bounce on it. And when you bounce on it, don't bounce close to here because this rod will impact it. Don't bounce close to here because the platform will. You want to sort of bounce in the middle, and do you like it? Go ahead, Vita.
Yeah.
But let's say you didn't like it. Let's say it is this one is too loose, because this is the ideal. This is what we're going for. So I cannot go and tie another group until the new one agrees with everybody else, which in this case is just one. If this is too loose, I'm going to take my two wings, I'm going to pull them forward, and a space will be created between the knot head and the rod. And my goal is to tighten down by pulling on I call these the wings, to take that up, and that's going to tighten this group. So you're going to see that happen. Do you see the space? I can tighten it by that much. So I'm going to pull on the wings, and it's going to tighten it. I'm going to put these at the same level. So now I want you to feel, and one should feel much tighter.
Yeah, this is tight.
Yep. So without untying it, I can make these great changes. Did it feel tighter to you, Chris? Okay, so now let me make it looser.
Have to untie that.
Right.
knot.
So let's say when you go to tie, and you didn't think you made any changes in your movement, but you did, and so this one ends up being tighter than that, which it is right now. You take the whole group, and as one group, you pull in the direction of the reed. That will create a space between the knot head and the lee stick, and you slide the knot head toward the lee stick, and it gives more slack to the group. So I'm going to do that. You see how I push that closer? So this one, I must have made it too tight. Here we go. Try that now. Is that better? Or is this one still just a little bit looser?
I don't know. I've never tested them like this before.
I feel like they're okay. I feel like they're okay. Are they okay to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So once you've committed that it agrees, now if worst came to worst, I couldn't get it any looser and I needed it to be looser, I would have to untie it and do it. When you're ready to commit, for neatness, you put one tail on each side or one wing. So I know, because of the tension I'm feeling here, that the next group I tie is going to be much tighter than these. And the reason is, the more you tie, the more the groups that you've already tied are helping you. Mm-hmm. And so you use the same strength, it's going to make the new group tighter. So what I do at that point is I go and add tension to these groups. So I'm going to go to the back of the bead loom because it's a friction break, and so I can tweak the tension. I'm going to add a little more tension because now, using the same force I was using before, I'm not going to be able to tie the new group tighter, and that's the goal. I want it to be the same. So I did this one. Now I'm going to go to this side, finger comb it.
Now, does it matter if you, I mean, I was always taught go left and to right, does it matter?
I think if you do all the left.
No, I mean, start with left, right.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I am doing left, right, but I could go two left, two right, or I could go right, left.
Okay.
You just want to try to not go too far out before you do the other side. So I go under the rod, look in the middle. Okay, so to the outside, the right goes underneath, the left goes underneath. I've got the right one pinched. Now I'm going to take the one from the left and wedge it in between my other fingers. Get these all at the same height. I'm going to feel, nope, it needs to be tighter. Actually, I like these up a little bit more. There we go. I like that a lot. So I'm going to try to keep this wedged like this. So I don't want to have too much movement or adjustment. So I'm going to put my finger in here, keep the other one wedged underneath, pop this in, and come down on that knot without much movement. Feel it. I like it. But if I don't like it, this is the time to make a change. Either pull the whole group forward, push the knot head, that will give me less tension, or take the wings, pull them firmly, and pull them back, and that will make this tighter, but I like it. So the goal is, now that I have three and they're all in unison, the fourth group has to agree with these before I can tie the fifth. And if you always make that promise that you will never tie a new group until the group you just finished with, or you think you just finished with, is really done, you will never have to go back in the end and retie. So do you know, I don't know if you noticed that I pinched that. What I'm trying to do is to get these knots all to be the same height. If I have one high, one low, then that's going to change how this really is. So I'm feeling with my open palm, Not really looking, I'm just gauging. I really like the way that feels, so I'm gonna try not to make a movement here. So I pick up the top layer, keep the bottom layer wedged under my finger, pop those tails in, and come down on the knot, making sure it's level. Give one last feel. I think it's just a pinch too tight, so I'm just gonna push that knot in a little bit closer. Here we go. And one more time. Yep, like that, so I'm done with that.